Will the Illuminati be able to unravel the mysteries around this mysterious woman who looks like Mistress Death, or will the Mad Titan beat them to the punch? Well, let's hop into the pages of Thanos issue number 3 and find out together, shall we? So then, picking up directly from where the last issue left off, Thanos had gone on the run with Roberta in tow. He also did so in a stolen truck, which I'm still laughing about all this time later. The Illuminati opt to give chase, having managed to spirit away most of the innocent people in Fresno, California. It's also around here I'm reminded we don't actually see the Illuminati in the field all that much doing super work. Normally when we see them, they're usually sitting around a conference table going over big heady issues and how best to manipulate the world from the shadows, and I think that's what's really throwing me off about this series. Now, when we actually do pick on up with Thanos and his hostage, it seems that they've taken over a small Mexican family restaurant. And man alive, if this place wasn't going to be on Kitchen Nightmares before, it's definitely going to be now after all the destruction. Also, geez Thanos, I mean, if you're trying to impress this woman, you could at least have gone 5 stars, right? Or are alien warlords also being hit hard by inflation at the moment, I wonder? Thanos goes on a whole big spiel about how he almost died in that black hole. The one we saw from the beginning of this series, and no, that doesn't really connect to how he last died in the pages of Eternals. But I digress. He says that he was alone in the deep infinite darkness, being crushed on all sides. He wished for death, but realized that that was the weak thing to do. It wasn't his death he was seeking. It was his long-lost love, his original obsession, Mistress Death, and even though Thanos had strayed in the past, being so close to death again only reminded him how much he loved the Mistress. Of course, Roberta has absolutely no idea what the hell this guy is talking about, only that he's incredibly creepy and simping super hard for a woman who she doesn't think is her. Things only get stranger though when Roberta is threatened. She ends up activating power she didn't know she had. She's able to give Thanos the slip, but before he can give chase, he ends up coming face to face with that older woman who's also been stalking Roberta since this series began, implying that she might have been her daughter Marie. This lady's really damn serious about protecting Roberta even if she isn't her daughter, and ends up shooting Thanos in the back. Which, you know, doesn't hurt him, it just kind of makes him angry, but still I have to appreciate the metaphorical balls it would take to do something like that. Iron Man and Emma Frost manage to track down a fleeing Roberta. They try and get her to stop, but understandably she's in no mood right now, what with going through a whole metaphysical crisis, coming to the realization that everything she thought she knew about her life might actually be one giant lie. Thanos ends up putting his foot down both literally and figuratively, causing poor Roberta to end up flying through the windshield. Her lacerations prove to be fatal, that even someone like Iron Man with all of his know-how can't exactly save her life. Granted, this is exactly what Thanos wanted, saying that the Illuminati had polluted and weakened his once powerful Mistress Death, and that this is the only way that she can return to her true self. And indeed, once Roberta dies, the Mistress Death that we all know and love is returned. Though here's where the twists start coming. She's absolutely pissed off to be returned to her regular form. She actually wanted to be a human. But how and why, you might be wondering? Well, for that we end up flashing back in time. It seems that Marie's mother was so driven as a parent that after losing her child, she dedicated the rest of her life to tracking down Mistress Death in the realm of death. She does this with a little help from a forgotten Captain Marvel character, which I can only assume Christopher Cantwell wrote that story too, because why would he do the connection? She says that Mistress Death goofed up. No, really, she uses the word goofed up, that her daughter was too young to die, that it wasn't her time to go, and that she's willing to beg and do whatever it takes to see Marie resurrected again. Of course, Mistress Death isn't going to do this, saying that one life is much too insignificant to mess up the great system that is in place governing life and death, and yet at the same time, this loving mother's words do actually manage to cut through Mistress Death's cosmic malaise. She's actually just been thinking to herself that despite overseeing life and death, she actually doesn't understand how much life does mean to people, how they are universes unto themselves, and how someone's passing can truly affect other people. It's because of this Mistress Death would end up approaching the Illuminati with a deal. If they help her become human, which is something that I guess was always within their power, then Mistress Death would share with them the secrets of when exactly planet Earth is going to die. And I mean, hey, some days it certainly feels like it's just around the corner in our lifetime, doesn't it? It's because of that Mistress Death chose chose to take the form of Marie, going by Roberta, and getting hidden away in Fresno, California, a tired, sleepy little place where she could live out a dull human existence. The only problem is that Thanos had to rear his ugly head, start stalking Mistress Death again, and because of that, her deal with the Illuminati is moot. She's also royally pissed, perhaps having lived just enough life to know what it feels like when it all gets snatched away prematurely, and because of that, as the issue ends, Mistress Death vows to kill Thanos once and for all. And so that was Thanos issue number 6, everyone, and overall I thought it was fine. Certainly better than the issue that preceded it, but not by much. Despite having some great ideas in the beginning, I was still kinda bored reading this one. I reiterate what I said in the previous issue, and that is that this story has a real problem with focus. It's one thing not to make Thanos the title character the main. I feel like some of the best villain stories get away with that, but the Illuminati just are not an interesting team to follow, or at least not interesting to follow in this situation that feels like it could have been handled by any super team. Likewise, we barely got to know enough about Roberta and her life to be sad that all of it has come to an end. I mean, again, there's something compelling about Mistress Death wanting to have a go at being human to better understand the process of life and death, but even that idea is sadly short-lived, and the whole story continues just to devolve into, well, I guess Mistress Death and Thanos are gonna fight each other now. That's new, I guess. Overall, I think I would give this one a 6 out of 10. Again, not particularly bad, but nothing I'm going to be raving about moving forward, which is a shame because I was really rooting for this one when it started. Now, 3 issues in, I'm actively wondering if I'm going to even finish the book or not. It's one thing to read a bad book that I can at least have fun with and enjoy actually joking about, but a boring book is absolute death, not just for me as a reader, but for me as a content creator too. It's hard to make fun of a nothing story. It's hard to talk for upwards of 6 minutes about a boring comic. I mean, look, I'm actually stretching things right now, aren't I? Which is probably a good idea to wrap up the video right now then. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.